Let me ask you something. If you're sitting here right now trying to figure out how to pay off your debt faster, there's a good chance you're doing it wrong. And I don't mean that to be harsh. I mean it because I've been there and I've watched thousands of people make the exact same mistakes. Not because they're bad with money, but because nobody ever told them the truth about how debt actually works. Here's that truth. Most debt payoff plans don't fail because of math. They fail because of behavior. You can have the most perfectly organized spreadsheet in the world, color-coded, formula-filled, beautiful, and still be broke in 6 months. Because the spreadsheet doesn't account for the Tuesday night when you're exhausted, you've had a terrible day, and Amazon is right there on your phone. That's what we're talking about today. Not just the numbers, but the real reason people stay stuck in debt for years. And more importantly, the system that actually gets you out. Part 1. Why people stay in debt, and it's not what you think. Here's the thing, nobody in the personal finance world wants to admit. Debt is not a math problem. It's a behavior problem. Because if debt were purely about math, most people would already be out of it. The math isn't complicated. Spend less than you earn. Pay more than the minimum. Avoid high-interest debt. That's basically it. 5 seconds of logic. And yet, tens of millions of Americans are stuck in debt for years. Some for their entire adult lives. So what gives? The answer is that debt isn't created in spreadsheets, it's created in moments. Moments of stress, moments of boredom, moments of, I've had the worst week of my life and I deserve this. Moments where you walk past a store window or scroll past an ad or your friend mentions a trip and suddenly your credit card is already in your hand. That's where debt lives. Not in your budget app, in your emotional life. Emotional spending is the real culprit. Think about the last time you spent money you didn't plan to spend. I mean, really think about it. Were you sitting calmly at your desk, running a cost-benefit analysis? Were you thinking, let me weigh the long-term financial implications of this purchase? Probably not. You were probably tired or stressed, or maybe you were scrolling mindlessly and something just caught you. And in that moment, buying something felt like relief, like a little exhale. That's the loop. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Stress to spend, to feel. Relief to feel, regret to repeat. And here's the brutal part. Every time that loop runs, your debt doesn't just stay the same. It grows. A little here, a little there. And before you know it, you're looking at a balance that feels impossible to climb out of. Most advice makes it worse. Now here's where the standard financial advice fails people. Most of it tells you to just try harder, budget more strictly, cut out everything, be more disciplined, and people try it. They go full force. They cancel subscriptions, swear off eating out, start tracking every penny, and it works. For about a week, maybe 2 if they're really motivated. Then life happens. The car needs a repair. The kids need something for school. A birthday comes up, and suddenly the perfect budget falls apart and they feel like failures. So they give up entirely and they go right back to where they started, except now they also feel bad about themselves. The problem was never discipline. The problem was the system, or the lack of one. Part 2. The mistakes that keep you stuck. Before we get to the solution, let's name the specific things that derail people. Because if you're doing any of these, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to change them. Mistake 1. Paying randomly. This one is huge, and it's sneaky because it feels productive. You've got a little extra money this month, maybe $200, maybe $300. So you think, okay, let me throw this at my debt. But which one? You kind of pick whichever one is most stressing you out that day. Or whichever bill just hit your inbox, or you spread it across all of them a little bit. There's no plan, no structure, just vibes. And the problem is that without a clear strategy, you're not making real progress anywhere. You're not getting the emotional wins that keep you going. And your brain, which is always looking for evidence that things are working, doesn't see any. So it quietly gives up. Mistake 2, going too extreme too fast. The cut everything approach. You go from spending freely to trying to live like a monk overnight. No eating out, no fun, no anything. And this works great until it doesn't. Because extreme restriction creates extreme craving. You hold out for 2 weeks, then you have one bad day and blow the whole budget. And then you feel so guilty that you give up the plan entirely. Small, sustainable changes will always beat dramatic, short-lived overhauls. Always. Mistake 3. Fixing debt without fixing behavior. This is the big one, the one that causes people to pay off debt and then end up right back in debt 2 years later. They focus entirely on paying down the balance, but they never deal with the habits and patterns that created the debt in the first place. So they grind for a year, pay off their cards, feel amazing, and then slowly, quietly, the same patterns come back. The emotional spending, the impulse buys, the I'll just put it on the card this once. And a year or two later, they're back where they started. Paying off debt without changing behavior is like bailing out a boat without plugging the hole. Part 3. The system that actually works. All right, let's fix this. The 2 methods, Snowball versus Avalanche. You've probably heard of these, but let's make them crystal clear. The Debt Snowball. You list all your debts from smallest balance to largest. You attack the smallest one first, throwing every extra dollar you can at it, while paying the minimums on everything else. Once that smallest debt is gone, you roll that payment into the next one, and so on. The math isn't perfect, but the psychology is powerful because you get a win fast. You see progress, you feel momentum, and that feeling is what keeps you going. The debt avalanche. You list your debts from highest interest rate to lowest. You attack the highest rate debt first. This is mathematically optimal. You'll pay less money overall, and this is a real, but in progress feels slow at the beginning. If your highest interest debt also has the biggest balance, it might take you a year before you fully pay it off. That's a long time to stay motivated without a visible win. So which should you choose? Honestly, for most people, the snowball wins, not because it's the smarter math, the avalanche, but because most people quit before the math matters. The best debt payoff plan is the one you'll actually stick to. And small wins early on. Create the kind of motivation that carries you through the hard months. The power of automation. This is the piece most people completely skip. And it might be the most important one. Most people rely on willpower to pay extra on their debt. They think, I'll just remember to transfer money at the end of the month. And then the end of the month comes, and the money's already gone. Or they forgot, or they decided to buy something else. The solution is to make it automatic. Set up automatic payments above the minimum on your target debt. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account the day after payday before you even have a chance to spend that money. Because here's the thing about automation. What's automatic doesn't require discipline. It just happens. You don't have to be motivated. You don't have to remember. You don't have to make a decision. The money moves before your brain even gets involved. And over time, that consistency compounds in a big way, controlling spending without losing your mind. Now, let's talk about the other side, stopping new debt from piling on. And look, I'm not going to tell you to never eat out again or cancel every subscription. That's not realistic and it's not sustainable. What you need isn't extreme budgeting. You need awareness and a few simple guardrails. Try these. The 24-hour rule. Before any unplanned purchase over a certain amount, say $30 or $50, you wait 24 hours. You don't say no forever, you just say, not yet. You'd be shocked by how many "I need this right now" feelings disappear completely by the next morning. No cards for emotional spending. Notice your trigger moment: stress, boredom, scrolling late at night. And make a rule that the credit card doesn't come out in those moments. Even just introducing a little friction can break the automatic loop. Weekly money check-ins. Spend 10 minutes every week looking at where your money went, not to judge yourself, just to stay aware, because awareness is the first line of defense against drift. Part 4. Your step-by-step action plan. Let's make this concrete. Here's what you actually do, starting this week. Step 1, write it all down. Every debt, balance, interest rate, minimum payment. All of it. Don't avoid it. Seeing the full picture is uncomfortable, but it's also clarifying. You can't fight an enemy you won't look at. Step 2, pick your method: Snowball or Avalanche. Choose one, commit to it. Don't switch back and forth based on whatever video you watch this week. Step 3, find your attack money. Even $50 to $100 extra a month makes a real difference over time. Look at your last 30 days of spending. I promise there's something in there. Subscriptions you forgot about, habits that don't serve you, expenses you wouldn't miss. Step 4, automate everything. Minimum payment on all debt. Automatic. Extra payment on your target debt. Automatic. Done. You've just removed willpower from the equation. Step 5, put up some guardrails. Pick 1 or 2 spending rules that match your personal weak spots. The 24-hour rule. No impulse buys online after 10 p.m. Whatever fits your life. Step 6, attack 1 debt at a time. Don't spread your focus. Don't try to make extra payments on 5 different accounts. Pick your target. Ignore the rest. Beyond minimums. Finish it. Then move on. Step 7, let momentum work for you. Every debt you pay off frees up money for the next one. Every win builds confidence. Every month you stick to the plan, it gets a little easier. This is how the snowball becomes an avalanche, even if you started with the snowball method. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Paying off debt fast is not about grinding harder or having more willpower than everyone else. It's about building a system that works with your behavior, not against it. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a plan you can actually follow on a Wednesday night when you're exhausted and just want to order DoorDash and ignore your finances. When you combine a clear strategy, a little automation, and some simple spending guardrails, debt stops being something that has power over you. It becomes a problem with a finish line, and you start moving toward that finish line every single month, whether you feel like it or not, one step at a time. That's how it works. Drop a comment below. What's the debt you're most focused on? Paying off right now? And if this video gave you something real to work with, subscribe. Next up, we're going deeper into why so many people stay financially stuck, even when they're doing everything right. See you there.